It's quite an interesting thing that you've been able to assemble such an uncanny number of incredible people in a single community. And I know that there are a core set of values that underpin the way in which Wi-Fi Tribe was created and how we continue to grow the community. So my question is, walk us through these 6 values and give me a little bit of a picture as to why we have them and why they're important.
Sure. So I believe that any community needs to first and foremost decide what are they for, who are they for, and what are the values that our community is going to live by. Because I think you have to take a step back and not just look at values as this kind of jingle. It's like, oh yeah, we have them somewhere on our website, but nobody really lives by them or cares about them. Values in a community sense, they're actually one of the most important, if not the most important thing. They become the pillars of it. And the values that you establish, if you're serious about it, will bring the right kind of people into your community. It's the whole your vibe attracts your tribe kind of thing. So when you say these are our values and you constantly communicate that outward, and maybe also like in the case of Wi-Fi Tribe, you create an admissions process system around those values, then you're being very intentional about bringing people with that same set of values into the community. In our case, we landed on respect, passion, curiosity, camaraderie, humility, and inclusion. How did we get to that? These are values that are just part of me. I find them to be incredibly important when building community, when being around other people, right? There are some obvious ones like respect, inclusion, camaraderie. Those are the kind of values that you realize that those just need to be a piece of it, right? I can't imagine a community without respect. I can't imagine a community without humility, because you're just going to have a bunch of loud egos in the room. Nobody has space for anybody else, right? I can't imagine a community without camaraderie, without inclusion. Those are all really central to what makes a community sticky, what makes people feel good and has people engaging with each other in the best possible way, right? That kindness, that thoughtfulness that comes with camaraderie and respect. And then passion and curiosity, that's more, the reason that we came to those was it was more about who we wanted to find, who we wanted to speak to, right? It's what I was describing before, this idea that we want people who are passionate about life, who have passion for the things that they're doing or the thing that they're trying to do, that they're pursuing, that have deep curiosity for other people, for just life in general, for the countries that they're visiting. So that's a little bit more about the identity. But yeah, those values are super important. The way that I describe the impact of values in a community is, imagine it being a bunch of circles. Every person is a circle, and within every circle, you have all of the values of a person, right? And that can be many. Depending on how you list them out, a person might have 10 values, 20, 30, 50 values, right? If you go really nuanced. The point is that every individual is going to have a slightly different set of values. So you imagine in our community right now, we have 700 active members. You take 700 circles and you put them all together. The middle intersection of all of those circles would effectively be the culture of the community. It would be the values that everyone has in common. And what's outside of that middle are then all of the other values that a person also holds. Because again, we are these very diverse, complex human beings, right? The important piece is that if you can find a subset of values that everybody holds, that everybody agrees on, that's what makes a community really strong. Because at the very core, you know that if you're here, this is how we engage with each other. This is what we all believe in. This is how we all lead our lives, with these values.
At the beginning of the answer to this question, you touched on an admissions process. And I know that the admissions process at Wi-Fi Tribe is one of the most fundamental components of this community that safeguards this community into the future and preserves this amazing culture that you've described. Why do we have a vetted admissions process?
The admissions process it helps us bring together people who align with the values that we've set out for the community. So at its very core, if there was only one thing that it achieved, that would be it. In simpler terms, it helps us find people who have the same vibe as the community that we're intentionally building. Now, it is obviously a lot more complex than that. There's 3 steps to it. There's first you apply, then you'll be invited to an interview. The interview is typically about 40 minutes. And then after that, there's a 3rd step where you will fill out just another 4-minute personality test. So you'll take the classic Myers-Briggs personality test, right? So all of those things are brought together to understand, again, if the vibes are a match in simple terms. For the admissions process itself, we've basically taken our 6 values and then extrapolated 18 different criteria points that's kind of going deeper into each of those values. And we assess against each one of those 18 points. And then we weigh each of those as well to make sure that our interviewer has a way to figure out that fit, but also remove personal bias from the interview process. And I'm really happy to say that after, I think it took us about 7 years of hacking away at this system. Initially, I was doing all of the interview calls. I've done more than 1,000 of these calls. So imagine 1,000 times like 45 minutes worth of calls. After hacking away at it, we finally figured out effectively a formula, and a process that now has our admissions interviewers get more accurate results than I used to be able to get. And that makes me just really happy that it was possible to turn something that felt very much like intuition and an art form into a bit of a science, really, at the end of the day.
I think many people, when they first come across Wi-Fi Tribe and they submit their application to join, excitedly, we hope, they have the idea that the admissions process and the interview call is going to be some version of a sales call where we as Wi-Fi Tribe are going to sell to them. Please can you clarify for that? Please can you clarify for anyone who's applying and help me to understand how we go from application to our first chapter?
Yeah, okay. So there are 2 parts to this, because people will join Wi-Fi Tribe with a little bit more of a focus on one side of what Wi-Fi Tribe is all about, or on the other side. There's our trips, our chapters, the month-long co-living, co-working trips around the world with 20 other digital nomads. And then on the other side, there's just the global community. Currently, we're 700 active members, people literally traveling, moving all around the world, people living in different hubs around the world, and you can just plug yourself into those, meet people, and then organically organize trips or meetups together. Right. So there's a lot of people that will, I don't know, you'll have people throwing out an idea of, hey, we've got the sailing boat. We've got 5 other tribers going. Who wants to hop in and join us? Somebody else might say, hey, we're going to go to Machu Picchu together to do the big hike. Who's in for that trip? You might have people saying, hey, we've got this co-live in Barcelona, or this home that we've rented. We've got space for 2 more. Do you want to join us there? Right. So it's a very organic way, just by the community, for the community, not our official trips, an organic way that you can plug yourself in and meet the community around the world, right? So there are these 2 sides, the Wi-Fi Tribe official trips, and then the community organized, basically just traveling, meeting up, and connecting around the world. And so depending on what it is that you kind of want to do right away, if you're looking at joining a specific trip, one of the chapters maybe that you've been looking at, say Dahab, has jumped out to you. Many people will join typically 3 to 6 months before they hop onto their first trip. That gives them time to, first of all, be able to book on time, because sometimes these trips will get booked up early, and it's just important to not miss out on that. But also to be able to connect with the community ahead of time, start meeting some people, maybe meeting up around the world, so that when you then get onto your first trip, you just feel like, cool, I already know what this is all about. I know the people. I'm going to feel super connected. You might even meet some of the people that you're going to meet on that chapter ahead of time. Right. On the other hand, if you're looking to just kind of plug in and get rolling right away with the more organic side of the community outside of our official trips, then that's something that you can do at any point. If you are, for example, based out of San Francisco, or based out of, let's take New York, actually a bit of a better example. You can join the community, and there's a very strong hub already in New York of members of our community. So there's a lot of people there. You can join, and you can immediately start meeting up with them on a weekly basis. Start connecting, plugging in, building out some of those connections and the friendships there. And then say you decided, I want to go visit London, right? Then you take a flight over, you check on our community hub. So we use Slack, and you see, there is a hub in London. Cool. You hop in there, you say, hey guys, I'm going to arrive in 2 days. Is anybody going to be around? Again, people will welcome you in, plug you in, get you to meet up for dinner, for drinks after. And the same way, you can just keep traveling around the world through all of the different city hubs that are active with the Wi-Fi Tribe community. So those are the 2 ways to kind of immediately start getting something out.